Before we get started tonight, we do need to remember some people in prayer. We definitely want to remember all those who have been affected by the tornado. There are many that lost their lives and had their earthly possessions completely destroyed. We do extend sympathy to the family of Mike Fletcher. This is Johnny and Juanita Fletcher's son. There will not be a memorial service at this time. Jack Gardner is recovering from a stroke. Anna Burgess is receiving therapy at NHC. Jennifer Curtis, a relative of Mabel Lee and Sandra Allen, who was injured in the tornado, is at Erlanger recovering from yet another surgery and is on a ventilator. Loretta Dale Pippin, sister of Ruth Cravens, and Ruth Pippin, is currently staying at the home of Laura and Roy Cravens. Pauline Birdwell, mother of Andrea Fox, has been diagnosed with cancer. Bob Ferris's appointments with his doctors in Cincinnati have been postponed until May. Betsy Cody, this is the sister of Jim Perry. She's undergoing therapy and she lives in Florida. After the recent tornado, Debbie Cumby has been displaced from her home. If you would like to take her a meal, please contact Mary Alice Thomas. We have several on our prayer list with everyday ongoing health issues. Judy Chambers, Kathy Cantrell, Maggie Dyer, Rita Grissom, Jean and Mary Judd, Lane Spivey, Donald Pierce, Karen Shatley, those battling cancer. You can see a complete list of these in the bulletin. Good evening, Sycamore. Wish we could be together at the building, but as you all know, that's not possible right now. So we're doing these video lessons. So hopefully you'll be able to get something out of this. Tonight I thought I would sort of do a semi-practical lesson. As Christians, how do we act, how do we grow during this time that we cannot be together? Well, my first thought went to 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. Be diligent to present yourself approved to God, a worker who does not need to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Well, what does it mean to be a worker who does not need to be ashamed? I think the key there is a worker. That means we have to work. We have to do good. James chapter 1 verses 22 through 25 tells us, but be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man observing his natural face in a mirror. For he observes himself, goes away, and immediately forgets what kind of man he was. But he who looks into the perfect law of liberty continues in it, and is not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work. This one will be blessed in what he does. Jesus told us in Matthew chapter 5, in verse 44, but I say to you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you. And then in verse 45, he tells us why. That you may be sons of your Father in heaven. Jesus has commanded us to be a doer of his will, of his work. What if we don't like the people? What if we don't want to do that? Well, James answers that for us in James chapter 4, verse 17. Therefore, to him who knows to do good and does not do it, to him it is sin. When we do good, how are we to be doing it? We are to, Jesus tells us in Matthew chapter 6, verses 1 through 4. Take heed that you do not do your charitable deeds before men to be seen by them. Otherwise you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. Therefore, when you do a charitable deed, do not sound a trumpet before you as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory from men. Assuredly, I say to you, they have their reward. But when you do a charitable deed, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, that your charitable deed may be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will himself reward you openly. You know, we've all done things, I think, to get glory from men. When we do good now, during this time, it's very difficult. No one will be out to see us. We need to look for ways that we can serve our fellow men, our fellow Christians. James, going back to chapter 1, verse 27, pure and undefiled religion before God and the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their trouble, and to keep oneself unspotted from the world. You know, I think that sums up everything that we need to be doing as Christians during this time. We need to be visiting those, or at least checking on those who are shut in, are sick, our widows. We need to be contacting our elderly of the congregation. Check on them. Make sure that they have what they need. If they need something, a prescription picked up, we need to do that for them. For those people who used to attend at Sycamore, but no longer attend at Sycamore or anywhere else, we need to reach out to them. Let them know that we still love them and that we're thinking about them and praying for them during this time of uncertainty with this virus. We also need to be studying the scriptures daily. We should be doing our own personal Bible studies, reading the Word. And most importantly, we need to pray. We need to pray without ceasing. We know that God will bless us. He will keep us. Thank you. If you have any needs, if you need to talk to someone, please call the church offices or one of the ministers or elders listed on the bulletin, and someone will be glad to help you in whatever needs you have. Thank you and have a good night.